Hi, this is Alex Helmrich, the Sports Information Director at Chadron State College, and I'm sitting here this morning with Chadron State women's basketball coach Tim Connealy. The Eagles fell to 0-4 on this young season with a 68-55 setback at Black Hills State last Tuesday in Spearfish. It was the first game of the season between the two, I guess, used to be rivals and probably soon to be rivals. Black Hills State, of course, is in the transition to Division II, and they're going to join the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference in 2012. They'll be an affiliate member in softball during the spring. But, Coach, kind of one of those games that really just kind of got away from the Eagles. It played pretty close for about the first 10 minutes of the first half, and then Black Hills State hit 3 straight threes and really just kind of controlled the game from there on out.
Yeah, I thought they had a lot more energy than us. I think, I don't know if we were suffering from playing, I think, 3 games in 5 or 6 days, or if it was the traveling day of the game, but for whatever reason, we just seemed to come out a little flat, and when you're kind of flat and shots aren't falling, there's not a lot to be excited about, and it's tough to, manufacture that energy, and I thought Black Hills State did a much better job of, playing with energy, playing with enthusiasm, and once you get down like that, or like you said, they hit 3 threes in 3 possessions, it's tough to recover if you don't have that enthusiasm defensively and start stringing some stops together.
It was a 38-23 lead at halftime for Black Hills State, and then Chadron State came out and actually outscored them in the second half 32-30. What did you guys change at halftime, or did shots just finally start falling?
No, we wanted to be a little bit more aggressive. Before the game started, we said we wanted to get the ball into the paint, whether it be via post feed or penetration. And in the first half, we were just very passive-aggressive offensively. We're holding the ball over the top of our heads and just not being aggressive. In the second half, we got Sadie Wall, a lot more touches down low, and we got some, dribble penetrations into the paint where we were able to create a little bit more offensively.
Kind of a strange shooting game for Chadron State. In the second period, CSC was 5 of 12, very respectable from three-point range, but just 3 of 10 from free throws. I'm sure that's probably something you emphasized on the trip home.
Yeah, and it killed us the last 2 games, against Wayne State and against Black Hills State. We're just not shooting the ball well from the free throw line, and I don't know what that fix is. We obviously shoot free throws in practice, you know what I mean, and the kids have decent shots. I think you just got to put them in situations in practice where they got to step up and there's a little bit of pressure on them and they're a little tired, and they just got to knock those down.
Received a nice game from freshman point guard Dallas Shaw. She finished with 18 points, which was tied for a game high, 4 of 8 from beyond the arc and 7 of 14 from the field. So pretty happy with her performance. She probably just had 1 assist. I'm sure you probably want to see that number go up. And then Sadie Wall, as you mentioned, had 9 points, and then Marla Munson finished with 7 before fouling out midway through the second period. So obviously, Coach, you did have some bright spots out of that game. You just know what you need to work on going forward.
Yeah, I thought they competed well. In the second half, I thought that they were trying to get it going. Dallas Shaw, we've known since, we recruited her out of Buffalo, Wyoming, that she could shoot the ball, and she got hot there in the second half, and that's something we see in practice all the time, and it's finally good to see it happen in a game for. I think, that confidence she gains hopefully propels her for the rest of this year. Sadie Wall got 5 offensive rebounds. I thought she was working really hard. Even Greer Bad came in and only played 5 minutes, but had 5 rebounds, 3 points, 1 steal. So I think we got some decent minutes out of some kids. We just need to, string together a couple more kids.
2 other things I took from the game. I was up there helping John Axtell with the broadcast and just trying to travel every now and again with the basketball teams. Kata Williams scored 6 points, did a nice job of kind of pushing the tempo in the first half. She went to the free throw line 4 times, made all 4 of those. And then Kate Simonton kind of gave you a little jolt there in the second half, scoring just 3 points, but she made several hustle plays.
Yeah, we were trying different combinations. After we got down, we were just trying to figure out what would work. And, Kate's number hadn't been called much this year. She's a freshman out of California, and we called her number, and I thought she came in and she competed really well. She showed that, yeah, she can shoot the ball from the outside, but she has a good handle. She can handle the ball. You saw her cross over a couple times, get into the paint. Very athletic kid. She can get to the offensive glass and really elevate. So, a lot like Dallas, being a freshman, hopefully coming in and playing well and competing in games like those will give you some confidence. And, Kate is one of the better kids we have about, getting into the paint with dribble penetration. After she gets there, she needs to work on what she's going to do with it. You know what I mean? Whether it's take a good shot or, get a good pass out. But she's definitely putting a lot of pressure on the defense when she gets in there. So she needs to stay aggressive and keep getting into the paint. And then once she gets in there, make good decisions.
Well, the real season, so to speak, begins this weekend. Chadron State opens Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference play. The Eagles will begin things off Friday at Colorado Mesa. That's a 5:30 tip-off, and then they will play Saturday night in Gunnison, Colorado at Western State. That is a 6 p.m. tip-off. Colorado Mesa is currently 2-2 on the season. Really has one of the more talented players in the RMAC. Kelsey Siegel's averaging 23 points a game and 8.3 rebounds. So, but then they have two others in double figures. They lost their first two games against Chico State and Sonoma State, but they've won against Tarleton and Oklahoma Panhandle, scoring 107 points in that Oklahoma Panhandle game.
Yeah, this is a talented group, and they're deep, especially when you look at offensive scores. You mentioned Siegel. She's averaging 23 points a game, and she's an inside-outside kid. She'll step out and hit threes. She'll drive, very good post-up player. You mentioned they have two other kids that are in double figures. One of them, Hillary Duncan, shooting 90% from the field right now, 18 of 20, which is on fire. And then, their fourth leading scorer, Katrina Seltzer, is averaging 8 points a game, and she's a junior. In her freshman year, she was at Pueblo, and she was freshman of the year in the conference. So, this is a very, very talented group defensively. They're tough. They run a switching man-to-man, which we've struggled with in the past, the same type of defense that Wayne State and Black Hills State runs. It's kind of a passive-aggressive defense where they're not really out pressuring, they're not in passing lanes. They just try to control the paint and keep you out of the paint. So a lot like, Wayne State and Black Hills State, we're really going to have to focus on getting post feeds and getting dribble penetration into the paint and putting a lot of pressure on them.
And then that's followed by a game Saturday night at Western State. The Mountaineers are currently 1-5 on the season. Their lone win was a 68-52 decision over Eastern New Mexico. But they also have one of the best players in the RMAC, Katie Hall, a talented post player who has begun the season, with 5 double-doubles out of their 6 games. She's averaging 15 points a game and just a shade over 13 rebounds a game. So another tall task.
Yeah, and this kid's just a beast. Unlike Siegel, she's not a combo kid. She's just going to, try to kick your butt in the paint, and she's big, she's physical. She's averaging over 13 rebounds a game, which is just a ton of rebounds, and she's doing it both offensively and defensively when you look at her boards. So she's a tough kid, but they also have some really good guards around her, and what that does is it takes away double opportunities. You really can't double off a lot of their perimeter players because they can shoot or they're very, very talented, going off the drive. So when they kick it out, if you're doubling off them, you have to run out at them and they'll dribble past you. So, this is a very well-rounded team, especially offensively, and it's going to pose a tough challenge for us.
Okay, Coach. Well, best of luck to you this weekend as you begin RMAC play at Colorado Mesa University and Western State.
All right, thanks a lot.